Welcome to the Charity Matters podcast. I'm Heidi Johnson, nonprofit founder, best-selling author, and lifelong helper. For more than a decade, I've been amplifying the voices of modern-day heroes, people who solve real problems with heart, courage, and service. As we've launched season 10 and celebrate over 100 episodes of our podcast, we continue our mission of helping the helpers and reminding the world that meaningful change happens one small act of kindness at a time. Have you ever thought about the combination of the theater and philanthropy to make a difference? Well, today's guest, Jessie Fahey, is no stranger to this fact. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Jessie, the founder of Ripple Effects Artists, and to learn about her incredible journey from theater to philanthropy and everything in between, and all that she's doing to make an incredible difference in our world. I'm so excited to have Jessie Fahey joining us today from Ripple Effects Artists. Welcome, Jessie. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Heidi. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited. And I'm actually excited because in all of my interviews, and there's been hundreds and hundreds, I haven't really encountered a nonprofit that does what you do. So it's really, it's interesting, it's exciting, it's unusual, and it's combining a lot of really super cool things to make a difference. So I'm really excited. So why don't we just jump in and you tell our audience what Ripple Effects Artists does?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that acknowledgement. That's great. So it's lovely to know that people see us as unique. So what we do is we are predominantly a theatrical production company. We've also produced film during the COVID pandemic. We did a lot of radio plays. But what we do is we will put on productions that raise awareness as well as raise funds for different human rights leaders and different human rights advocates and organizations. And we will host talkback conversations, some might say panel conversations after our productions that really feature or put a spotlight, you could say, on human rights leaders. And these leaders actually do work that correlate with the theme of the show that we've produced.
I mean, it's just it's so cool, and it's so my son's in New York right now. I'm like, I wish I was in New York right now. I want to come see one of these. It's so cool. So talk to me. You don't just like wake up. Theater is challenging. Nonprofit is impossible and wonderful, just like theater. So there's things that happen. Like if you look back at your path, seeds that were planted about giving back, about making a difference. When you look back, what are some of those early things? Was it a person, a mentor, an experience that kind of shaped maybe this idea? What do you think it was?
Absolutely. I think there are a multitude of experiences that can all come together. So I will just give the highlights. One is that I toured as an actor in 2007 into 2008, and it was with The Diary of Anne Frank, with the play. And so it was an educational tour, it was a children's tour, and a lot of people, unfortunately, I think there's this little bit of a stigma about educational theater that you're just doing cute little kids shows and they might not have a whole lot of substance. I definitely thought that the story of Anne Frank has a whole lot of substance and a whole lot of relevance. And it was for mostly high school students, some middle school students who were learning about the Holocaust. And so after every show, we would actually have these talkback type of conversations with these students about all issues or all topics that are relevant to that time in history. And so that would be all forms of prejudice, bigotry, where is it rooted? So these were really impactful conversations. These students were, for the most part, I mean, very, very insightful and asked really interesting and introspective questions. And so that was one. When I was in high school, it's when Columbine happened, and that was still during a time that school shootings were seen as shocking. Unfortunately, I think they're becoming a little bit more and more of a norm now, but Columbine was something that really shook everybody to their core. And we did a production of Bang Bang You're Dead, which is actually, it's completely free domain. It's public domain for any high school to do, to actually explore what is at the core, what is at the root of why these incredible tragedies happen.
Right.
And then I also watched a lot of theater. I've seen, you said you love New York, and
Right. I love New
I
York.
come on over. I've been here 22 years. I'm
Oh,
massively
you're
weird.
officially a New Yorker,
Thank
100%.
you.
After eight, they say, right? It's after eight, you're official.
Sure, I feel like maybe it's so funny. Everybody asks me at what year do you know that you're a New Yorker? And like the amount of years always changes. Like people
Isn't
say
that
5,
funny?
some people say 8, some people say 10. I say it's the first time you're standing on a subway platform and you're feeling impatient. That's when you
Okay. Well, it's funny because in
know.
LA we have no, oh, you just got here. Great. Oh, you're here for a minute. Oh, you've been here for, I
Yeah,
mean, we don't have that.
I know.
Are you an Angelino?
I
We don't
get it.
have that. We're very much, oh, okay, good,
Yeah.
welcome, cool. Come, enjoy. But New York, it's like you got to pass a test. There's a
Yep.
timeline. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, there's something
Yeah,
about like, yeah, there's a grittiness and
right,
there's a durability. It's what I love about New
right.
Yorkers.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's
yeah,
do you pass for this? Another one is,
right,
are you stopped and asked for directions, which even in this iPhone age, people still do
right.
stop people and ask for
Right,
directions.
right,
And like, can you give those
right,
directions confidently? That's another
right.
interesting litmus test. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I love that.
Um,
Well, I love that.
so for me, being in New York, I've been very fortunate and privileged to see a lot of beautiful Broadway shows. And
Right,
I was witnessing so many shows that had such powerful, beautiful art behind them. You could say a message. I would say they just asked really powerful questions. One that really
right,
blew me away was A Normal Heart. And when I saw that, it's a play that really looks very deeply at the AIDS epidemic in the early 80s in New York and
right,
grassroots not-for-profit organizations trying to come together to get funding and resources for people who were dying at an exponential rate. And so, I left that theater sobbing like so many, and I just thought, for me as an audience member, as a viewer, I was just having these thoughts like I'm not done. I'm not done talking about this. What I like this world I've just been a part of. Now I want to be in a conversation and dissect this and peel the layers back and see what can be done and what is still happening in our government, like all of that. And
So
so,
let's
yeah.
stop there because a lot of us go to the theater
Yeah.
or get to experience play, or we read a great book, or we see a great movie, or we have an experience like this that moves us, but
Yep.
we don't do anything about it, right?
Correct.
Which I know is at the core of your
Correct.
whole essence. And actually, there's 1.6 million nonprofit founders, and we all have experiences, but we don't act on them. But
Hmm.
1.6 million of us have started an organization that does. You're one of them. I'm one of them, and
Wonderful.
it doesn't mean that we're special or
Yeah.
unique. But I'm having these conversations to tell everybody that we all have this power
Yes.
to make change. And you're
Yep.
telling everybody, I'm going to give you the runway on how to do
Yes.
it. So,
Yes.
talk to me about the moment that you thought, okay, I've seen these plays, I've been a
Yeah.
part of these plays, excuse me, I've had these moments. Now I need people to take action.
Yeah.
So, what was it? Was it seeing the AIDS play? Was that the final moment? Was that when you're like, I have to do this? Because I don't
Yeah.
think if it exists, I don't know about it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist somewhere else, but it's not a model that I'm super familiar with.
No, you're absolutely right. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it's not a model that's often used. There are a lot of, and I specify this whenever I talk about the organization because I do want to honor all not-for-profits just as you
Right,
do, because
right.
all of them are so important and critical. And it's actually that's a really inspiring number that you just shared with me. I didn't
Yeah,
know it was that
1.6
high.
million
I
in
love
the United
that's
States, only in the US. Yes.
See, that to
Yeah.
me is beautiful. I wish that was on the news. I wish that was what we
Me
were learning
too.
about.
Me
So
too.
we need to like shout that from the rooftops that there are that many people who are committed committed, because starting a not-for-profit is a gauntlet of paperwork and work, and that's a whole other podcast
And that
episode. But
and that's going to be our next question. So save the challenges.
yes,
But was the
but
moment
yeah,
of
yes.
that show?
Yes. So I think it was a combination of those. And then there was a moment where I've always been somebody who hires coaches, whether it be business coaches, executive coaches, and I participated in organizations that had courses that were really focused and zeroed in on coaching. And, why do we hire coaches? Why do athletes
Right.
hire coaches? Because they see things that we can't see about
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
And they have us see them and discover them. So it was through a course I did. It's an organization that I love. I'll just say it outright. It's called Landmark Worldwide. And so through a course I did, somebody said, like, what is your life really for? And I think I had never really been asked that question directly. Like, we get asked questions about our careers, like, what is it you want? Or what is
Right.
it, which is important, and what
Right.
is it what are your dreams? All those things. But to be asked, like, oh, what is my life actually for? Meaning, like, what is my service? What is my contribution to this planet? And
Right.
what I knew my contribution was in that moment was, I know powerful theater. I know what effective and powerful theater looks like. I know what great artists are, not great artists, but also great artists who are great at working with other great artists and who are
Right.
professional and kind. I know what that looks like. I know that there are so many wonderful not-for-profit organizations, charity organizations here in New York that
Right.
could have a platform, as you said. And
Right.
so it was just a light bulb. It was just that question. And then, but I think all the other experiences that I just described to you previously funneled into why I answered that question in my head that way.
Right.
But when somebody asked me, really, what is your life actually for? I think it has all of us really be in a whole other trajectory and a whole other sense of joy, fulfillment, and a ton of hard work. But joy, fulfillment, because it's not so much like, is this what I want? Is this what I want? Is this what I want? It's like, no, I'm actually, there's a function I have here
Right.
on this thing called the
Well,
planet. That's
it's
what I
finding your
want.
gifts and how
Yes,
you give them away. And
correct.
that's
Yes.
really at the root of it. And when you discover what your actual gifts, which is my favorite Pablo Picasso quote, which is right, the reason I always mess it
Mm.
up, but it's like the purpose for living is to find your gifts. The reason for living is to give them away. Or it's
Oof,
something it's look it up. I'm
love
sure I screwed it up
that.
a little bit, but it's really at the core of what we do, right? We find our gifts and we find a way to give them away. And your gifts are theater. So what year did you decide to start the nonprofit?
2009.
2009. So
Yep.
talk to me about, because I don't know if talk us through starting a theater, starting a nonprofit, or having a theater and converting it to
Yep.
nonprofit, or taking whatever the model is you did. There are so many challenges because you're an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you're running a business, and it
Mm-hmm.
relies on the kindness of others. And you're kind of shaking up the model. I mean, a little bit.
Yep.
It's something new, which is sometimes really well received, and sometimes it takes a lot more explaining. So talk to me about some of those early challenges.
Woof. So I would say the biggest challenges in the beginning were figuring out just so many aspects to figure out as far as paperwork and logistics. So, like,
Mhm.
how do you actually get registered as a not-for-profit in your
Right,
state? We
right,
finally ended up paying someone to help us do that, which I'm not saying you have to do. So we weren't
right,
officially incorporated until 2013.
right,
So, like you said, I think anyone starting any sort of NGO has to be one with the fact or be okay with the fact that you are going to not only be wearing many hats, but there's also a variance of energies that you are going to have to embody. So
right, right,
there's the entrepreneur energy, which,
right,
you might think is like, type A Steve Jobs, whatever it is, but it's like you're going to networking events, you're pitching constantly, except it's
Hmm.
about your mission, not your product
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
but your mission is your product. That's how I
Correct.
would have
Correct.
everybody think about that.
Bravo.
Um, and you are constantly campaigning for ways in which people can participate, aka give money or give time or come see your show, which is giving money. Like you are doing that nonstop.
Well, you're
Then,
the connector. You're the
correct.
connector. And I will say, like, our job is to, we have the flame and the passion, and we have to light everything on fire.
Yep. Oh, that's a great way. Man, I'm going to steal your quotes today.
You're welcome to use them anytime you want. You're welcome
I
to use them.
love it. Those are
But
so
there's
great. Yeah.
so much of it is bringing everyone to your party, right? And
Yes.
getting them and what people really want. And I always kind of use, I always laugh and use the, to use a New York thing, the Harry met Sally, I
Yeah.
want what she's having because nonprofit founders have passion, we
Mhm.
have purpose, and other people may be like, might be a great CPA, he's a super great guy, but doesn't have that. And it's like, I want what she's having. And I can
Yep.
help you do books or I can help you do it. Like, I
Right.
don't know anything about this, but I want that. I want to be excited about something. And
Absolutely.
that's such a huge part of our job, right? Is to bring all that
Huge.
together. And you have a lot of working pieces,
Yes.
a lot more than I would say the average bear. I mean, yeah,
I
I
mean,
would,
yes, I, well, it's so interesting. I so appreciate the acknowledgement. It's so funny to me. Recently, at the beginning of our events, like we just had our recent fundraiser, our annual fundraiser, and then we had our show last year. And I just announced, like, here's how long Ripple Effect has been in existence. And so I'll say, now we're going into our 17th season. It's been 15 years of producing theater. And in New York, just by me saying a number that's over 10 years, I think
right.
because I'm saying a number that's over 10 years, there's like an automatic applause.
It's
For
back to the
and
New York
it's
litmus test. It's back
so
to being a New
funny,
Yorker.
exactly. But I find it so interesting because sometimes, and maybe this is my own form of imposter syndrome, I don't know, but sometimes I hear that applause and I think to myself, they have no idea how many times I've screwed up. They're only applauding for 15 years. They have no,
But
like for all they know, I could have been running a you know what show for 15
right.
years,
But
right?
the resilience factor is
Yeah,
applause worthy. And also,
right.
an average nonprofit, lots of times people, executive directors, founders make it 5 years. Like there's burnout, there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
happen. So speaking of that, what happens for you? What fuels you when it is? I mean, I would say I love New York so much, but living in New
Yeah.
York or living anywhere, I don't care. You have laundry, it's your bad weather, you
I
have
do have
whatever,
laundry. We had
right?
some awful weather
And
this year. Yeah, I'm so
right.
envious
And
of
you guys had so
California.
much snow this year.
Yeah.
And so but you still have to plug forward, move ahead, trudge on, which is all about this resilience. But what fuels you in those moments when you think, what am I doing? Like, this is exhausting. And am I going to get my laundry done? Or am I going to get a cab
Yeah.
to get home or whatever? Am I going to miss the subway? Whatever. Like, what fuels you to
Yeah.
keep going?
It's a great question. I always remember the moments when we have a talk back conversation after a show, and the show has resonated with audiences, and we've had a talk back conversation that resonates well with audiences. I can't There's just nothing better than that. It's just,
Right.
it is when we've seen the model work and we've seen the model work over and over, and
Right.
it's, you know, it might be in a small theater and it might be with people who only paid 25 to $50 for a ticket, but it's, it's like, oh, okay, this is a spark. This is a thing that really
They get
does.
it.
Yeah, they get it. And I think, I could compare it to teachers. I've never been somebody, I was an after school teacher, but I've never taken on teaching full time, but
Right.
I've known quite a few teachers and they say the exact same, they have the exact
Right.
same sentiment about a student that gets it. Um, I'm
I
not,
run a youth leadership organization and we
yes,
deal with
exactly.
college
Yeah.
through sixth graders through college kids, but we teach service is one of the things we teach. And
Hmm.
so when I see them connect the dots of what it
Yes.
means to be a servant leader, and I see that seed that I've planted start to germinate, I
Yes.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's indescribable.
Hmm.
And I'll be candid. I'm of a certain age and I'm not a mother. And so what I have
Right,
always, oh my gosh, I have lots of friends who are mothers and I just talk about heroes of the world. And um, I always just resorted myself to like, this is my child in the world, is this
right,
organization. So,
right,
more than anybody, like when your child is driving you crazy, you don't get to just up and quit because you're
right,
tired,
right,
right? You don't
right.
get to have time off.
No, right,
Um,
right, right,
so I have just said like this is the my contribution to the world. This is, for lack of a better word, my child. So I don't get to have time off no matter what gets thrown. And I do have
right,
that kind of love for it. And I won't say it's the same as motherhood because I don't know motherhood other than my dog.
right,
But
right,
like I will say that I see a lot of parallels though. When I
right,
hear women talk
right,
about motherhood, I'm like, well, I see this is a brainchild, not my body, but like
right.
I see the parallels, which is what has kept me going.
So speaking of moms, we like to
Yeah.
brag about our babies, our kids, what they
Yes.
do, and my three sons who are on now grown
Mhm.
just roll their eyes like, "Really, mom, you got to stop." Just saying, I'm like, "Sorry, it just kind of comes with it." So
Of
talk to me
course.
about what success you guys have had and what impact looks like for you. I know, when we write these grants and we have to say oh, I had so many hours of volunteers and
Mhm.
had so many people came to see my performances and that's all great. But sometimes impact is that moment when you see a child
Yeah.
spark, right? Sometimes
Yep.
impact is knowing that you taught something and you heard that they're now volunteering for that organization. So talk to me what it
Yep.
looks like for you.
Sure. So we did a little bit of research and stats, and we found out that roughly 5% of people who come to see our shows take immediate action in the moment of the actual show that they
Wow.
see. So that could mean signing a petition. We have petitions that people can sign. That's a pretty easy access point.
Right.
Sometimes people say, I really want to find out more about this organization. I'm going to volunteer. Some
Right.
people say, I'm going to give money to this organization. Another like really amazingly rewarding part of this is that when we are at the helm of New Yorkers, people who live right here, finding out about organizations in New York that they didn't know
Right.
about, it
Right.
is kind of amazing. It's this huge city, 8 million people. It's incredibly, all of the sectors of New York, I think, are incredibly insulated. So theater is very insulated. Like the theater
Right.
people, they know everything there is to know about theater. They know all the shows that are coming to Broadway. But when you walk 5 blocks from the theater district to Park Avenue, people working in corporate banking in Park
Right.
Avenue don't know anything about what's happening on Broadway. And it's five
Right.
blocks, five
Right.
blocks of a distance.
Right. Right.
So there is this sort of with industries, I think this sort of disjointedness. And so when
Right.
you can bring people together and when New Yorkers can learn about these wonderful organizations doing this great work, and these organizations then get more support,
Right.
viewership,
Right.
there's nothing better than that.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's how I feel the same way with our conversations because I'm trying to
Wonderful.
help the helpers. That's my mission is to help the helpers
Thank you.
and to
That
give
was
voice
beautiful.
to because people don't know about all these causes exactly to what you're saying. And with
Hmm.
1.6 million of them, and I have a very soft spot for just the entrepreneurial nature of what we do. And I'm not saying like the Red Crosses of the world don't do great work
Yeah.
and they all started with one person a long time ago. So it's not that, but I really love to help the organizations and just to do the same thing you're doing. We're both being messengers in a different
Yes.
way, and I really love that. So if you could dream any dream
Oh,
for ripple effect, what does that look like?
oh, thank you for that. I want us not only on a Broadway stage, Tony Award worthy, but the big dream is that this becomes an ongoing model for
Love
the
that.
arts the arts and advocacy because we have these incredibly powerful arts movements, not just in theater, visual arts, music, all of it. We have these incredibly beautiful, stimulating pieces of art around that people are looking at, and maybe they're talking about it a little bit, and
Right.
and then what? So
Right.
if you talked about Picasso, so I talked about Picasso in my TEDx talk, and I talked about the painting of Guernica and how it was so impactful as a reaction to war. Well, what if we had that as a platform for all of our discussions about Iran now? There's just so much opportunity for the arts and advocacy to be
Right.
married and to support
Right.
each other.
Right.
And I believe that that will create more validity for the arts, which is what we need for the arts,
Right. Right.
funding, etc.,
Right.
credibility for the arts, and I also believe it will create more platforms for the advocacy work. So that's why I'm here.
I love that. I love that. And we all have to use whatever platform we have to do what we can do. And it's whatever we have, we can do something with it, right? And that's really, I
Correct.
think, what you're exemplifying in such a beautiful way. So tell me what lessons you've learned in all these
Mm.
years, really, and how service and doing this has changed you. I mean, what
Ooh,
life lessons have you learned, and how have you changed from
yeah,
from serving? Because you're a
yeah.
messenger in a really beautiful way.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so how do you think you've changed from this, and what
Uh,
lessons have you learned from it? It's kind of a
yeah.
two-part question.
Um, like we said earlier, you have to be able to embody several energies.
Hmm.
I've learned that part of this does mean at times bringing forth a strong, taking no BS. These are the parameters, these are the rules,
Right.
these are the boundaries. As a female doing that, when I've had board members who are not female of different generations, and I'm not to say that
Oh, we've
not
all been there.
we've all, yes, and I'm
We've
not,
all been there.
it,
You know,
it's, yeah,
you don't need to say anything else. I know exactly what
yeah,
you're saying.
I get it. I'm sure you have,
Oh yeah,
and happy Women's Month.
right,
But I think navigating all of those different relationships and spaces,
right,
I learned that there is a time where even though I am somebody who is got this like mushy gushy sentimental heart for all of the atrocities in the world, I
right,
still at the same time sometimes have to show up at a meeting and be a B word or be what people
right,
would call
right,
that.
right.
And not purposefully or intentionally, but just laying down, here's the
Be
boundaries and
strong.
here's what
Just
we're
be
doing.
strong and clear.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we're running a business, and
exactly.
running a business
Exactly.
sometimes means you just have to run a business and say that
Correct.
doesn't work. And we're all
Correct.
running businesses. I mean, I run this nonprofit, and I'm sure there's plenty of my board members that would probably say that, oh wow, she's really in a mood today. But there's moments where you're like,
We gotta get
we're
stuff done.
driving the ship, right? And we're trying to
Correct.
make all the pieces work, and we need to make sure everyone's going in the same direction. And
Correct.
sometimes you just got to be the captain and say, no, we're going this way,
And
and
deadlines are
get on
deadlines.
board or jump
Yeah,
off.
exactly,
But and
exactly.
that's
And those have
okay.
been some of the most important lessons I've learned actually has
Yeah,
been that, like you said, this isn't for everybody. So not everybody wants to, from audience members, not everyone wants to see theater like this. Fine.
right,
Sometimes they want to see musicals that are happy and go lucky. Great. And
right,
this is not for everybody when it comes to service and leadership. Some people want their service and their version of leadership to be elsewhere. If
right,
I were to talk to myself 10 years ago, I would say don't stress out so much about trying to convert people into being passionate or into being the right sort of leader for your organization, your board, your team. Don't try to convert it's so much easier to just allow people to go whatever path they want to go down and find others than to
right,
try to get them to behave the way that you think they should behave, that you think the way the dynamic should go. Some people just don't fit into those dynamics, and that's okay.
It's the Mel Robbins let them,
Oh
right?
my God, I love Mel Robbins. Thank you for,
It's
yes,
it's
let
it's
them
it's
leave.
let them,
Yes,
and that's okay. It's
yeah,
not you do you, I'm doing me.
yes,
Let
yes,
them. It's okay. Because it really
yes.
we have to do that because we can't. We are, I think, I would say, and I hate to lump people together because everyone's different, but
Yep.
we have to be type A in a way to get
Hmm.
stuff done.
Yep.
And so most of us nonprofit founders are type A. It just kind of comes with the territory.
Yep.
And sometimes, people can't work with that, and that's okay. Let them.
Yep.
There's
Let
other ones.
them.
Go find somebody else.
I know that I would have saved myself months of agony if I had
Right,
just gotten that lesson
right.
earlier.
Yeah,
So
sometimes it's a harder one to learn for sure.
exactly, and it just takes
Yeah.
practice. And then even if you then, because there's not-for-profit laws and bylaws, when you do identify that someone might not be a fit, there's still a voting process and
Oh yeah.
all the
Just went through
stuff.
that. I just went through that over New Year's. It was
My heart is
good.
with you. I feel
Nothing
you.
says happy holidays and Merry Christmas like trying to deal with that. Yeah,
I get
definitely.
it.
It's painful. It's
It
definitely
is.
painful.
It is.
But you know what? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
everyone gives what they can give, when they can give, the way they can give. And
Yep.
I think that also learning to just honor for me and really uh, get catch people where they are
Yep.
in their openness, in their giving, and whatever that is, and whatever they can bring is welcome. And if this isn't for them, that's okay too. It's not personal. It's
Yep.
just it's okay. And
Yep.
I think that that's really something that's important for all of us to learn. It's
Yes,
not just a
absolutely.
nonprofit lesson; it's a life lesson that we all
Yeah.
need to learn.
Yeah, and businesses, for-profit businesses, the for-profit sector, in my mind, this is a generalization, but they seem to have no problem saying that. And
Right.
I think because this is the nonprofit world, there's this expectation that we're supposed to be nice, see nice all the
Softer, a
time.
little softer.
Right? And it's like, no, you can have a big heart while
Right.
still, and in fact, you should have a big heart while still being willing to have the tough conversations. Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is a leadership role, and that's just what it is.
That's 100%. It's
Um,
100% what it is.
yeah.
Well, I love that. And I love everything that you're doing. I think it's so cool and incredible and exciting and unique and all of the things. And just, I always say I'm a messenger of service. That's my purpose on this planet. That's why I'm here. But I think you are equally a messenger of service, and it's really lovely to meet
Mm.
my people, which is also why I love having these conversations. So talk to me how we can support you. We're coming into New York. We want to go to the theater. We want to
Yeah.
volunteer, or we just have some great financial contributions or anything that we could do or connections. how
Yep.
can we how can we support you?
Well, first, thank you so much for the incredible work that you
Mhm.
do, not only for all of us messengers, but also for our youth, because that is what
Oh,
our
thank you.
future is, and it is critical
Yeah,
to look at our
thank
future
you.
in this country. So thank you. So we can be found at Ripple Effect Artists, plural.com. You can contact us directly through the website. You can donate directly there. And we do have a show coming up in June, and it's on the website called Building the Wall. And so
Mhm.
it's probably pretty telling what that is addressing, but it is addressing the topic of immigration. We're very excited
Got
that
it.
we have a director who we've worked with in the past. His name is Brent Boole, and he was very directly connected with the film Sing Sing. The film Sing Sing was based off of his work as a director in prisons with inmates. So we're very,
Oh,
very
cool.
excited to have him work with us again. Yeah, and it's going to be a show that really looks at the rise of authoritarianism and what is happening, and that's a whole other subject,
That
but
right.
yeah,
I love that. And then you guys have an Instagram or social media where we
we
can follow
do.
you?
Yep. So our Instagram is Ripple Effect Art. Our Facebook is just, yeah, Ripple Effect Artists, same on LinkedIn, all the
Okay.
same. Yeah.
Love it. Well, Jesse, thank you for what you're doing. I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to come to New York and see a show. I
Yay.
love, love, love what you're doing. And thank you for just spreading the word of goodness and making a difference and educating us and teaching us in really exciting ways. It really is a gift.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to be here and to have this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Charity Matters podcast. I so enjoyed our conversation with Jessie and learning about how her work is truly changing lives. Her insight about service and leadership is something I'll be thinking about long after this conversation. If you'd like to learn more about today's guest and other modern day heroes, visit us at charity-matters.com or at Charity Matters. And if this episode inspired you, please share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps these stories to reach more hearts. But more than anything, thank you for caring, for believing in goodness, and for being a part of our Charity Matters community. You are exactly what the world needs more of. Remember, together, we can make a difference. One small act of kindness at a time. Charity matters. See you next time.